So Chris and I have different boxes, and right now we're gonna show you our boxes. I know what you're thinking, and those are dirty, dirty thoughts. Hi, I'm Will from Venture to Rome. I'm here with my best buddy, Chris from Frontier State Overland, and we're doing 2 different heater builds with the same diesel heater. So you're gonna see 2 different boxes, 2 different approaches, and you're gonna watch us probably epically fail at putting these diesel heaters together, but hopefully you'll learn something in the process. So let's get started. Did you want to say something? We've already seen each other's boxes, but you haven't seen our boxes yet. So let me show you. This is my box. This is an Apache large case from Harbor Freight. It costs about $65, and it comes with a bunch of foam inside of it because it's made for carrying things that need to be protected. But I just took all the foam out, and we're gonna cut it up and put a bunch of holes in it. And this is gonna be my diesel carrying case.
Also from Harbor Freight is this Bauer box, which is about $40. So it's a little bit less expensive than Will's Apache case that he got from there. And the reason I chose this one is because it locks on top of our camp kitchen, which is also part of this Bauer system. If you're looking for something that keeps it from bouncing around the back of your rig, this is definitely worth a look. They're sealed, so they're supposed to be dust proof and I would say water resistant, not waterproof. But it's roughly, like I said, it's roughly the same size as Will's Apache case. So we'll see how well this one works for my diesel heater build.
Okay, my approach with this build was to buy a pre-made kit off of eBay. So I bought this kit that has all these pre-made 3D printed parts that have instructions on how to kind of drill the holes and attach these things to make the heater fit inside this particular box really well. Now I also had to buy a few other things. I bought this thing, which is like an exhaust vent. I bought these things. I'll link all this in the description, which are like little connections for the hoses. I bought a computer fan that was part of the instructions for this 3D printed kit. And I don't know if I'm actually going to use this or not. It seems like a little overkill, but we'll see. So this stuff cost an extra maybe $150, somewhere between $130 and $150. The kit from eBay was like $100, and the rest of the stuff was somewhere between $30 and $50. I'll link it all in the description so you can see exactly how much they cost. But it adds a little bit of cost to this build. So the heater itself, now Vever sent us these heaters. We did not pay for them, but we paid for everything else. So I think these heaters retail for about 120 bucks or 130 bucks. The box was another 65 bucks, and this was another 150 bucks. So right off the bat, it's not really like a super cheap budget build, but we'll see what the end product's like. Maybe it'll be worth it.
So for my build, it's pretty similar to Will's. So these might look familiar. These are going to actually go on the side of the box and allow me to connect the outlet hose, which will run up to the tent to actually warm everything up. However, I didn't go with the eBay kit. Instead, I just bought some parts off of Amazon. So there's a couple of these little vent things, which were like, I don't know, $6 or something like that. They weren't very expensive. Something else that I got, which I think Will's probably gonna get to, honestly, is this is gonna go into the side of the box, and then this is going to go to the 12 volt connector. And this is a waterproof connection. So it's like a marine grade type of thing. You wire in the connector here, and then you press this little thing here, and it goes in and clicks, and of course I'm not doing it right. But anyway, it makes like this really great watertight connection. This came in like a 4-pack. These are going to be basically quick connects for hose connectors. So sorry, I forgot the word there for a second. But instead of having to look around for a screwdriver or something to loosen them and tighten them, it's got these little keys here. You just tighten them and then loosen them. And then for the air inlet on the outside, we want to try and keep our boxes as clean as possible. It opens up and closes, and then you can also direct it. And so if it's like raining and muddy, you open it up and things are splashing, you can kind of, give it a little bit of a shelter, or, create a little bit of a barrier for it. And then when you're transporting, you can close it up. And then on the inside, I have this connector. And this is going to basically connect to the air inlet of the diesel heater, and it'll also connect here. And so it'll connect it to the outside of the box. Then this, just like with Will, using the through hole connector for the exhaust, and it comes with like an isolator. So this will hopefully keep the box from melting. Everything that I've seen so far on other people's diesel heater builds, this looks like it's a great solution. So I ended up ponying up some money for this. And honestly, that's really about it. So all this stuff together, boy, I don't know, you're looking at maybe $75. And I think that's on the high end. So I think it's actually probably closer to like the $50 range. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I did get a 12 volt connector. It's really long. And the reason is that I wanted to keep my battery bank inside of the Jeep, run it out to the heater. And yeah, so anyway, it's nice and long. And this, wasn't very expensive either.
The first thing I'm gonna do is prep this box. So I've got to shave some knobs and things off and drill some holes in it to make room for all the stuff that we're gonna attach to it. So let's do that right now. So basically this needs to fit here. So I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna take this latch off as well. So to take this latch off, there's a pin right there, and I'm just going to use this punch to just kind of punch it out and then grip it with pliers on the other side and pull it. So I'm also going to cut off these little knobs on the top here, just so the pieces that I'm going to put on here can fit flush up against this part of the box. I'm going to do that on both sides.
Kind of similar to Will, I might have to do a little trimming on the side. However, on the inside of this box, it's not just totally wide open. There's a bunch of like ribs that run through it. I think it's because this is like a storage case for bolts and screws, and the little ribs help hold the little canisters in place. So I'm gonna have to do some additional prep work by cutting those things out. So far what I've done is I've cut out all the little tabs on the bottom and most of them on the sides that I've needed to. And that just makes it so that way I have a nice level base for the actual diesel heater. And then in the sides here, this is where like the inlet is gonna go, and then this is where the outlet's gonna go. So I need those flat. Same thing on the back here. I might have the other air intake coming out here, and then the exhaust coming out over on this area. The next thing that I'll need to do is actually cut out some of these ribs on the top. Those are there to like hold the canisters that come with it in there.
Okay, these are the pieces that go here, so we're just going to mark the holes to drill so we can attach them later. Okay, so we're in a good place. We have got all the holes cut. We've got the exhausts in. We've got the intakes in and the outtakes in. The holes, all those holes cut. And so I did a little test fitting here. You can see it's a really tight fit. So this is really tight over here. This is one of those custom printed pieces that connects here to this piece that I put in. And then this is just regular kind of venting tubing. And I had to kind of cut it and really work it to get in there to fit, but it fits. So now I'm going to actually lock this thing in place. So what I'm going to do is, this is the mounting plate that comes with it. And so I'm going to cut it on one side, cut it off, because it'll stick up past here and the box won't close. And then on the other side, I'm going to score it and bend it, so it's gonna sit down there. It's going to be drilled into the bottom of the case and hold this thing in place. Although I got to tell you, the tubings on either side are holding this thing in place. It's pretty dang tight. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, so I have things kind of loosely fitted in here, and it's looking pretty good. All this is loosely mounted. I just kind of hand tighten the bolts. And now I'm going to take this piece and connect it to the front so we can actually connect the vent, and that'll kind of pinch this together with these bolts and with these nuts. All right, Chris, update.
Okay, so Will and I are kind of in a similar spot where we're doing test fittings. So I had to, I made a couple of modifications. Let me kind of do it so you can see it a little bit better. So originally I was going to have this up here and then figure out a way to kind of drop the pipe down. I couldn't have the actual connectors go, or the vent that goes out and like actually pushes the heat out. I couldn't have it up here because this isn't flat. There's a flat section here. And the same thing for the other side. So what I did is I kind of took a lesson from some of the guys that run those diesel trucks, and I'm going to straight pipe it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have this is the air intake. It's just going to hook straight up here, and then this is, you know, where the heat comes out, and it's just going to connect straight to here. Have a little mounting bracket right here. The exhaust will go out over here, and then I mistakenly ordered one of these, and I was trying to figure out a good way to have the other air intake.
You ordered two of those.
Yeah, well actually I ordered one for you, but you already had one, so I was just going to send it back. But instead I decided I'm going to use it for the other air intake down here on the bottom. So it worked out really well.
So we're just gonna start putting them in.
Yeah, that's the theory at least.
So we had reached a really good spot, and Chris and I decided to take a break. I basically needed a break from Chris because you just can't be around that guy very much before you start to get really tired of him. So we went our separate ways for a bit. We came back, and we're going to finish the heater builds today. So we have to do electrical work. We have to do the fuel line work, and then test it out. So we're going to start in on that stuff right now. So basically the first thing I'm going to do today is attach the fuel line. So it will attach on the inside of this box, and it'll have some power running to it, and it'll run, the fuel line will run through the box out on this corner. And I actually haven't decided what I'm going to do in terms of if I'm going to connect it to an external tank that's attached to this case, or if I'm just going to leave it so I can use any kind of fuel source and not one that's actually attached to the case. I'm not sure yet. I'm just going to run the line and maybe figure it out later. So you can see this is pretty simple. I just ran a hose from the diesel up to the pump, and I ran this one a little long because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to arrange this. And then got this on there and ran this one through this hole, and I just ran the whole thing through there. I'll cut it later because I'm not sure if I'm going to attach a tank to this side or just have it run to an external tank of some sort. So this is the fuel setup for now. I think this is going to be decent enough to test, and then we'll kind of figure it out, maybe zip tight together with the electrical cord or something as we go.
So this is day 67 of the heater build. Will and I have been working on this thing for what seems like, what did I say, 67 days?
67
days. Not
in a
68 or 64. You know, Will and I are kind of working our way through. Hopefully we're going to be finishing today. We have just like the fuel line to install, some electrical, and then we're going to try and test these things out on an, what is it, 80-degree day?
85-degree day. Let's fire them up.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little guy, pop it right here. Got the two air intakes. So this will allow for some heat to escape, and it also allow for a little extra air circulation inside of the case. So just a little update. I have where I'm going to mount my, this is going to be where the power goes in. This really cool waterproof connector. Oops, that's upside down. It's going to go in right here. So it's going to be pretty great. The next part though is mounting the fuel pump. And so the way I'm looking at doing this is basically putting it up here. It has to be at a 45-degree angle. However, the way that I mounted the actual heater is right in the middle of the box. So there's not a super, like, it's not like a ton of room up above or below. Below is definitely out of the question because it's got the exhaust and air intake down there. So I have to figure out a place to put the fuel pump, and it has to be at like a 45 degrees. So what I'm going to do, I think, is pop it up here in this corner, have the fuel line go out through the outside corner here. And right up here, there's an actual spot where there's kind of a cavity inside of the box. And I think it's going to fit about like this. Once I get the fuel pump in and the fuel line run, that's getting pretty close to being complete. Now I have most of the fuel line connected to the fuel pump and exiting the actual box. It's going to run to an external fuel tank. The idea behind that is to keep me from having diesel inside of the actual Jeep. I think I'm going to try and rig up something with like a Rotopax or something that I could stick in my trasheroo that'll be out of the way. That way if there's a leak or a spill or something, I don't have to worry about cleaning up out of the inside of my rig.
Okay, now I'm going to start mounting the electronics piece. And I have this, which is some Velcro stripping tape that I bought a long time ago for a project I was going to do on my rooftop tent that I never did. But I kept this because I thought it might be useful someday. So this is what I'm going to attach to the back of the control module. And then I'm going to notch out the side so the electrical cable can run through the box. So that's what I'm going to start doing right now. Okay, as long as I have this soldering iron hot, I'm going to take this, the 12-volt plug, snip these ends, and solder on this piece of the plug that will plug and latch into that piece that I just soldered on the box. Okay, we have working diesel heaters, kind of. So everything connected great, is working great, except that we had them plugged into our external batteries, our solar batteries. We both have idle 500s, I think, 12 volt, kind of standard external batteries. And it wouldn't start. We kept getting the code E2. So then we plugged it into the Jeep with the Jeep turned off. We got the same code E2, which means too much voltage, which is really strange because it seems like it's not getting enough voltage. So we turn on the car, the Jeep, which you can hear running now, and they start up just fine. So right now they're plugged in, they're running. They're both pumping out wonderful warm air, but we got to figure out this power thing. So I think I'm gonna call this like a 95% success. And as soon as we figure out this power thing, it'll be 100%. So let's go take a look at it. So here's mine. And you can see we have some diesel here from our old diesel heater that we're using for parts. And this is Chris's here. And we propped them up because they weren't level, and we were getting an E8 code, which means that the flame was extinguished. So we thought maybe they should be level, and once we leveled them out, we got rid of that code. And I've got my my hose hooked up over here, and let's see. Okay, there it is, blowing wonderful warm air, and Chris's is doing great over there too. The only thing I'm worried about is the power thing, so we'll figure that out. So I'm really excited, even though I'm not 100% done yet. I feel like we're like 95% there, and we just got to figure out this power thing. So I'm going to call this video over for now. We're going to use these on the trail. We're going to take them out next weekend and use them whenever we go high, like to the mountains this summer and it's going to get cold, or in the fall. We're going to keep using them and keep trying to figure this stuff out, and we'll report back on how they're doing, how we're using them, if we ever figured out the voltage thing. But thank you for watching. I hope this was really helpful. Hope it was good to see two different approaches. Until next time, I'm Will from Venture to Rome. Thanks for watching.